Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, is a dishonest benefit fraudster. Right? I'm going to put that out there. Now, obviously, benefit fraudster, I don't mean literally she is a welfare claimant who's frauding the system, but I'm putting it there just to make a point. Rachel Reeves as Chancellor, alongside Liz Kendall, have really went out of the way to out-Tory the Tories when it comes to rhetoric about the unemployed. I'll maybe make a video specifically about that because of very strong views on it, but I'm just going to focus on Reeves on this one. This is a video I've wanted to make for a while actually, but I've been caught up with other things. I've been busy recently, but when the Tories were saying one thing and doing another, and when it was a case of one rule for them and another rule for everyone else, I said, this is why I'm not voting Tory. I mean, I probably wouldn't have voted for them anyway, but that really disgusted me, the sort of double standards over Partygate. And I don't like Kimmy Badenoch's attitude to that. Her attitude is basically we need to move on from it. But the Tories are never going to regain trust from middle ground people like myself if they don't acknowledge the public anger on that sort of issue. But in the, say, 3/4 of a year that Labour has been in power, we've seen pretty much some of the same thing from senior Labour politicians, and I would say including Rachel Reeves. So I'm just going to read out this report from the Eye from the 14th of February, so bear with me. The report's by Hugo Guy, or Guy, that's G-Y-E. Rachel Reeves will not face an inquiry nor disciplinary action over allegations that she may have improperly claimed expenses in her last job at a bank, Number 10 has said. The Chancellor was linked to an investigation into events when she worked at Halifax Bank of Scotland, HBOS, according to the BBC. The review is reported to have centred on claims that she and two senior colleagues may not have followed company rules when they used corporate spending cards to buy gifts and rewards for other members of staff. Reeves was alleged to have spent money on items including handbags, perfume and earrings for colleagues, the BBC said. She left her role at the bank in 2009, the same year the internal audit took place, although there was no suggestion that the two events were connected. Reeves became MP for Leeds West in 2010 and was appointed Chancellor last year. A spokesperson said Reeves was not aware of an investigation into her conduct and had not been disciplined over her expenses at any time, adding it is 16 years since she left the bank, and the first time she was made aware of these claims was when she was approached by journalists. In other words, she's surprised that she got caught out. Keir Starmer backed the Chancellor, of course he did, and said she did not have any further questions to answer. He told broadcasters Rachel Reeves has dealt with any issues that arose. She delivered a really important budget for the country. The balance of books gave it stability. Sources Number 10 in the Treasury said that there were no plans to investigate the allegations and that Reeves would not be referred to the Independent Advisor on Ministerial Interests. But Labour MP Dame Siobhan McDonagh, a member of the Treasury Select Committee, warned that there were questions to be asked about the expenses scandal, despite praising Reeves as one of the most hard-working, honest politicians that I've ever met. Well, that's a bit of a contradiction. The bank's former IHR partner, Jim Waper, said, in my role, I would have been made aware of any investigation which concluded there was a case to answer. I would have been required to organise and oversee a disciplinary process. This did not happen. Under the Financial Conduct Authority's rules, any such accusations would have to have been properly investigated. Reeves' lawyer, David Sorensen, said that she left the company on good terms at a time when it was restructuring, adding, absolutely no allegations of wrongdoing or misconduct were mentioned by the HBOS HR team during this process. Reeves' LinkedIn profile has described her as an economist, when in fact she had been working as a manager within the complaints handling department. She has blamed the error on a mistake made by a member of staff who was updating her online presence. Oh yeah, blame it on someone else. So this is what I find really galling. Even if some of these allegations are somewhat misplaced and maybe she technically didn't do everything wrong that has been alleged, clearly there are serious questions there. And what I find really galling is the double standards. Now Reeves, like Liz Kendall, has really been a big advocate of sanctioning claimants, either for refusing work or for benefit fraud. And yet here we have her exposed as not being above board. I don't, obviously her lawyers are going to go on overdrive here. Obviously, they're going to have a big PR model. She has the power to do that. How does someone who's accused of benefit fraud have anywhere near the same sort of leverage? I mean, there's been cases in this country of claimants getting sanctioned through no fault of their own because there has been an administrative error. And here we have Reeves essentially saying the same thing. This was an administrative mistake, blaming it on someone else. I just find it disgusting, quite honestly. I've never had much time for Rachel Reeves, to be honest. I don't like her pandering to China. And, she's Labour. I just think it's reprehensible, the arrogance of power. And to be honest, you'd probably find it's across the board in any party. But it's clear, I'm allowed to make an oversight. It's just a mistake. It's fine. I shouldn't be sanctioned for that, i.e. by resigning. But and I'm not even saying she should necessarily resign. It's just what I find so infuriating is the double standards. That the same woman wants to punish claimants, and in many cases it may be through no fault of their own. Reeves and Kendall, to their eternal shame, are trying to out-Tory the Tories when it comes to how the unemployed are treated. And I'm not talking here about serious frauds, as people raking in thousands that that they weren't entitled to. I'm talking about someone being 5 minutes late to a meeting, or, for example, having other engagements when they're told they have a job interview, but maybe other engagements that involve finding work. There's all sorts of situations, people getting threatening letters from the DWP when they are legitimate, when they really do have debilitative conditions. And of course, Reeves and Kendall will never outright say, we want to punish the unemployed. They'll always gloss it over. They're skilled politicians. They'll always gloss it over as we're trying to help people into work. I mean, it's just dishonest language, because what they really want to do is say, well, we'll hammer people who can't really defend themselves because it makes us look tough, because we want to appeal to Reform voters, we want to appeal to Tory voters. And for a Labour Party to do this, it's just disgusting. I mean, one thing you see from I was going to make this another video, and I probably will, but again, my point with Rachel Reeves is, even if technically some of this stuff was above board and technically she may not have done anything wrong, I mean, this point about lying on her CV, if a claimant done that, they would be penalised. I mean, I say she may not have technically done anything wrong. Well, that in itself proves that she has done wrong. The fact that she's given misleading information on her CV about her role at HBOS. If a claimant gave misleading information to an advisor in the job centre, they would absolutely be sanctioned, or they wouldn't be eligible for universal credit. So the double standards really sicken me, quite honestly, especially when they're in the context of Reeves and Kendall trying to be populist for all the wrong reasons. It really, honestly, it infuriates me, because I've been through the DWP. I know what it's like. Very, very few people who go through that system want to do it, because it is, you've got very little control. You basically have to do everything they say. There's a situation, well, actually, maybe this is for another video, but, for another video, but, shame on you, Rachel Reeves. Shame on you for thinking it's okay to lie in your CV, but wanting to punish claimants for similar misdemeanours. The hypocrisy is sickening. And when it comes to the next general election, I will be thinking about stuff like this. I mean, it's not I'm trying not to repeat things that I'll say in the next video, because, there's going to be some overlap. This was particularly about Rachel Reeves. But, of course Starmer's backing her. And of course she's not going to resign. He'll say it's too big a job. If she was a junior minister, maybe she would. But it's infuriating double standards as far as I'm concerned. And I hope Reeves faces more heat for this. She'll be hoping that this just goes away. And unfortunately, it probably will, because there's so many other stories going on. It will probably just fade away, and she'll be happy about that. Meanwhile, she'll continue to scapegoat the unemployed. It disgusts me.